everyone, and welcome to the Lunch Hour Sports Podcast. Here with your hosts, Jacob Smedley,
Sam Betts,
Justin Rehammer,
and Nathan Romanot,
with our returning guest,
Cam Whitney.
Our topics today: the MLB recreated a great baseball movie. Sam will dive into the game and the teams and the movie that it's based on. Justin, on the football end, dives into the playoffs, football division. We'll give our predictions to you before the regular season starts. And Nate will break down the expansion draft in the NHL and what moves are going on in the offseason, along with a special soccer player that chose a new club just a few weeks ago. Now here's Sam Betts. Sam, what's going on with the Field of Dreams?
And Jake, as we get to it, wait. Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa, Jake. The game was played in Iowa.
What's the difference? What's the difference, Sam?
Well, Jake, that famous line was from the famous baseball movie Field of Dreams, which was released in 1989. It's been a very popular movie for a lot of baseball fans, and this year, the MLB decided to pay homage to it by making the special Field of Dreams baseball game. Now, this game was supposed to be played last year in August. However, with COVID and, the raging pandemic that was going on at that time, and is still kind of going on today, the MLB had to cancel the whole thing. They were originally going to try to play the game with the White Sox and Yankees, but then they decided to place the Yankees with the Cardinals. The Cardinals had a major COVID outbreak in that year, if you remember, and they ended up canceling the whole game entirely. However, the MLB was able to put it on this year and even build an entire stadium next to the set of where the movie was portrayed in Dyersville, Iowa. It's even next to the house and the baseball field where the movie took place, which was very awesome. And like before, this game was played between the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees. Unfortunately, Tony La Russa wasn't able to be at this game due to the passing of his brother-in-law, and he had to attend the funeral. The bench coach, Miguel Cairo, was able to step in and manage this game. Jake, this game, there were only 7,000 or so people in attendance, but this was probably one of the most viewed baseball games of the entire year. It was amazing. It was amazing to see, and the MLB did a really nice job of having this game out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. It felt more than 7,000, like watching the videos and the broadcast. I mean, that felt more than 7,000 people were there, which was great to hear.
Yes, it definitely was, and the MLB was able to even have some of the actors come and participate in the game. Kevin Costner, who plays Ray Kinsella in the movie, he was able to attend there and throw out the first pitch. Also, Dwyer Brown, who plays John Kinsella, Ray Kinsella's father, who played in the minor leagues in the movie, was also able to attend there. And he's also attended multiple stadiums throughout the last 2 years and also this year as well. They even had a special pregame tribute as Kevin Costner came out onto the field. All the players from the White Sox and the Yankees in their 1919-esque uniforms were able to come out to the field through the corn that was in the outfield and kind of like walk onto the stadium and have like a bunch of have like all the starting lineups called out. It was really awesome. They're wearing the 1919 uniforms to pay tribute to the Chicago White Sox, who were a big part of the Field of Dreams movie. Especially how Shoeless Joe Jackson, being a part of the Black Sox scandal, allegedly was the first player to come out onto the special field that Ray Kinsella made. As we go on to the game ended in a 9-8 victory for the White Sox. It was a very thrilling game. Went back and forth. The White Sox would take the lead, then the Yankees, and it would go back and forth right up until the last moment.
Yeah, the ball was flying out of the park. It seems like you were going to go into it too, but home runs on each side. You had Judge hit one, Eloy hit one, and then, of course, Tim Anderson to cap it. The ball was flying out of there. The dimensions aren't big, but ball was flying out regardless.
Definitely, Jake. And there were actually 8 total home runs that game, and Jose Abreu had the honor of hitting the first MLB home run in the state of Iowa. very new feat, baseball breaking grounds right in front of us and making history.
Probably bigger than his MVP, I would say. Bump the AL MVP. First home run in the state of Iowa for Major League wise. That's great.
Definitely, definitely. The game started with the starters, Lance Lynn for the Chicago White Sox, who has been on a tear this year. He's been doing really well. And Andrew Heaney, who was newly acquired from the Angels, made the start for the Yankees this year. Like I said again, Jose Abreu in the bottom of the first hit the first MLB home run in Iowa, and then right from there, Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs. Eloy Jimenez was able to just smash the ball into the outfield there. You had Zevi Salava, the catcher for the White Sox, hit one. Brett Gardner was able to come back. Giancarlo Stanton was able to take the lead with a home run. And then in the end, in the bottom of the ninth, since the White Sox were the home team and they were down, they were able to bat that right then with Zach Britton pitching. Tim Anderson hit a 2-run home run to take the lead and win the game for probably one of the biggest games in MLB history right now. The win was secured by Liam Hendricks, who was able, even though he got the win, gave up 4 runs in the last inning there to make it a very close and possible defeat for the White Sox. However, with Tim Anderson, Zach Britton was handed the loss there. Like I said, Jake, this was just a phenomenal game. I've watched Field of Dreams multiple times. It's probably one of my favorite baseball movies of all time, right next to Bull Durham and others like it. And the MLB has also announced that they plan on having another game in August of next year. The teams haven't been decided, but I'm sure that whoever it is, it's going to be another thriller.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love it. I mean, I was even thinking too after, I would love to see the World Series play there, the All-Star. I mean, I know that's asking a bit too much and it's probably a lot to put that together. But I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful scenery and, I mean, looked exactly like the movie, which I gotta watch again. We gotta watch it, Sam. Me and you, we gotta sit down and watch the Field of Dreams. Great baseball sports movie in general. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this can build even more. Maybe not just for the Field of Dreams, maybe recreating another movie, but for the sport of baseball as a whole, and how much, as you mentioned at the Open, the viewership that it gained because of the Field of Dreams, which not only baseball fans watched. I mean, people outside of maybe baseball watching that, now watching the game being played and being able to grow it, outreaching the game, which I think is the biggest thing as well. Aside from the teams next year playing.
And Jake, one thing I want to mention here before I kind of wrap up my part, I think we all know, and this is unfortunate for me because I'm a big baseball guy. I love baseball. It's never really going to be, attendance wise and viewership wise, it's never going to be really as popular. I don't want to say never, but right now it's not as popular as football or basketball maybe or some other sports. But if the MLB can put on something like this and maybe even other events just like it. Maybe they do like a Bull Durham theme game or something like that, or maybe they just kind of like
Sandlot or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. If they go with something like that, people will attend these games and watch it because there's just such a nostalgia and there's just such a beauty to it where it, like even like you said, non-baseball fans or people who may not be associated with baseball might really value something like this. And Jake, I'm just glad it happened.
Justin. Nah, too far.
I'm just glad it was able to happen
Yeah.
and that they could pay homage to such a great movie and to just the sport of baseball is able to put on something like this.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Sam. That should do it with the Field of Dreams. Both me and Sam cannot wait to see what Major League Baseball continues to do in the years ahead. Justin, NFL regular season is just a few weeks away. The divisions, some up for grabs, some maybe locks. What do you have for us?
Thank you, Jacob. Now, this past weekend, as we saw, was the preseason, first week of it. And although it's fun to look back, I was thinking we would look ahead to the end of the season and put our foot in the race there, see what we think about the predictions for the division winners and the playoffs for really the seeding for both the AFC and the NFC. So without further ado, let's get started with the NFC side of things. I'm going to start with the NFC North. Great division we got there. We got the Bears, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers in that division. Now, up until a few weeks ago, I would have had a very tough time deciding who was going to win this division, but with Aaron Rodgers deciding to finally stick around in Green Bay, I think that you have to go with the Green Bay Packers to win this division because he's just so good at that position. Coming off of an MVP season, such a good player. He's got a great receiving room around him, a good offensive line, great running backs. I think that he will definitely take this division this season. And I think that there will be some higher competition than last season, but I overall think that he will take it.
You don't think Justin Fields has a chance?
Not
That's
for the division.
what I was going to say, too.
I think that he's going to have a season, I don't think he's going to be bad, but I think that the Bears will have a tough time integrating him into that offense. It's going to be tough for a rookie to beat somebody like Aaron Rodgers for a division title.
I agree with you.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the Packers right now, the front runners with Rodgers, Adams coming back in, their whole kind of cryptic post of the last kind of dance on Instagram. But, yeah, I think they're the most talented team right now. You have the Bears, who still have their good defensive pieces. They'll be pretty much middle to above average defensively. Again, the questions remain about the offense. They have Fields in there now. We'll see if he can take that starting quarterback reign. But, you got to go with the Packers to lead the pack. As the Lions, Vikings, they got some good young talent, but I don't think they have enough pieces to compete with the Packers at the top.
Yeah, Packers should take the division. Rodgers, like Jake said, looks like it could be potentially his last year in Green Bay. I would expect nothing less for them to take the division with ease.
All right, then we're going to move on to the NFC South side of things, where we have the defending champions in this division, the Buccaneers, with also the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers. And I think I'd be crazy to say, without Drew Brees, I just don't think there's going to be a way that Tampa Bay is not going to take this division. They have all their returning pieces from last season, all their starters, and I think that in and of itself should speak to the volume how good this team's going to be. So I think that they'll definitely stick around, take this division, and I hope the Saints put up a good fight. I think the Falcons might be sneaky too, because I looked and their schedule's a little on the light side, so I think that they might come in there. Don't underestimate them, but I do think that the Buccaneers, as the returning Super Bowl champions, will definitely take the division here.
You're underestimating the Falcons. I'm looking at the Panthers. I think the Bucs are going to take the division, but I think with the Panthers,
you got to remember Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. Matt Rule, he kind of has some success at college and kind of
some Temple bias there.
Off of a little bit. They may be the Carolina Owls, but I think the Panthers. I think they got some young talent. They might, of course, may finish third or second, but I think they could win some games that you don't pick them winning somehow, some way. I think they're on the rise.
Listen, now you guys are arguing this. Saints. You letting out the Saints. You got Michael Thomas, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara. You got good offensive people on your team, They also have a great defense. They're one of the top defenses, in my opinion, in the NFL. I think they could give a run for the Buccaneers for that first place.
I'm not going to sit here and say that the Saints are a bad team. I think they're going to do good, but I think without their Hall of Famer and Drew Brees, without that centerpiece quarterback, you're not going to win the division.
I agree. Okay. No, that's a good point. I agree with you.
Well, hang on. Wait, you said Taysom Hill. He, as a person who's not fully integrated in football, he's not the starting quarterback, is he? Because I know Taysom Hill's
it's up for debate right now. Yeah. It's up for debate.
It's either going to be Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill.
Now that's who I thought.
I think it's Taysom. It's going to be Taysom.
That's who I think would be, because I know Jameis Winston was a former starter with the Buccaneers, and obviously he had to take a back seat.
From what
we
saw last season, it would definitely be better for them if Jameis Winston took the reins. However, it right now is unsure.
I like Taysom.
Taysom Hill, from what I've seen, he's a fairly decent player, but he's more of a gadget player. He can throw the ball, but he can also go out for a wide receiver too. I think you need someone who's solely able to kind of stay in the pocket, throw the ball.
That's like
kind of move around.
That's like saying Lamar's a running back.
Yeah, the problem with that is though that Winston has an interception problem.
Yeah, I know.
Big
he
time.
was
He
does.
one
He
for
got the
one
eye
with
surgery,
big time
though. He got the eye
interceptions
surgery.
when he was with the
Yeah,
Buccaneers.
okay, you got the
I
eye
heard
surgery.
about that. I don't know. It's just, I
We'll
guess
see.
that is something to consider when
I'll just say
deciding to
this.
start
I
the quarterback.
personally believe that regardless of who starts, the Saints don't have a realistic shot at winning the division.
That's
I think they'll be
agreeable. I can
second,
agree with
Yeah.
that.
but against the defending Super Bowl champions who is returning every single player from that team, I just don't believe that the Saints have the firepower without Drew Brees in their first season without him to win the division. Buccaneers should win it. Carolina, a quick note on that. I just don't know, how much faith I put in Sam Darnold in his first year down there. I think it'll be better than the Jets situation, but I don't realistically see how they can win the division. And the Falcons, the Falcons are the Falcons. They'll probably finish second or third. We'll see.
I'm just thinking wild card, all right? Not the division.
Okay.
Maybe they, if wild card's weak, I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying.
All right, well, speaking of weak, let's move on to the weakest division in
Oh
all
my
of sports,
gosh.
the NFC
What a
East.
segue.
Yes,
what
sir.
a segue.
Oh, yeah, you
What
know
a
I got him,
segue.
Jacob. Yeah, we know who's in this division. We got the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, or should I say the New Jersey Giants, and the Washington football team.
A load of horse crap.
Yeah, not great, but I think honestly this season, I think history is going to repeat itself. The good defense in the Washington football team is going to take this poor division, and that's just where I'm feeling it's going to land. I think they're going to be the worst of all the division leaders, but I think that they will win this division narrowly.
So you're saying, wait, so you contradicted yourself. History repeating, but the NFC East has not had a repeat division champ since, I think it was like 2003, 4. I don't know
Okay.
the exact
History
year,
repeating
but...
itself, meaning the bad division is won by the football team, so
Okay, alright. You just didn't agree with history fully, though, in terms of your division prediction.
You gotta
But,
nitpick
I
it
mean,
there.
nonetheless, I see your prediction. I mean, the football team, I think they have the best defense in the division. There's no doubt about
Chase
that. All the
Young.
talent. Chase Young, yeah, their secondary's good too. The offense is, Ryan Fitzmagic. Going to see how he fits in with their young, talented, skill position players, McLaurin and Gibson. Yeah. I mean, they have a good team. I think they have a best chance maybe as the Cowboys. I think those two were the two teams at the top. The Giants are in there too.
Well, what about your Eagles,
Eagles, yeah, I'll agree that
They're
the
rebuilding.
Eagles right now on paper are the worst team. But, as Justin said, they're the worst division. A few dominoes could fall the right way, and they could end up
What do you
second or
mean?
third or whatever.
Danny Dimes, Daniel
Dak
Jones, and
Prescott's
Saquon
still
Barkley.
somewhat injured, it seems like, and another injury could happen, and they could win games they shouldn't win against the division or other teams. So, but yeah, I think, let's see, if I had to go with, I don't know, I mean, I think the Giants, in my opinion, I mean, even though we stole the Eagles stole Devontae from him in the draft, I think what they did in free agency was great, surrounding Danny Dimes with Kenny Golladay, which I think was one of the better signings in the offseason, adding another weapon on the outside for him. And defensively, they didn't have to do much, but they did add and supplement the secondary. So, I'll go bold in this weak division. I'll go with the Giants. I say the Giants edge it out and continue the trend of never a repeat winner.
It's close. It's a tight division, the weakest division in all of football. But as much as it pains me to say it, I'm taking the Cowboys. Assuming that Dak Prescott can stay healthy, I will take the Cowboys to win the division this year. To me, they have the best offense with Dak healthy, the best receiver. I know I hear you,
Cam's
Cam,
not
but
liking
listen.
it.
No.
As much as
listen.
I'm not done yet. Defensively, they were terrible last year. I'm not gonna lie, but as much as it hurt for me to watch them pick up my boy Micah Parsons in the draft. And I'm not lying. I think he'll make a
there's that
big
Penn
difference for
State
them.
in him. That's why.
Yeah, there's
That's
that.
why. It's just the Penn.
Call me out on it, but you know what? Micah Parsons was the best linebacker in college football, and the Cowboys got him. So,
No. In my opinion, they're gonna be they're gonna be the top two worst. I think it's gonna be Washington, Giants, Cowboys, Eagles. That's what I got.
I don't know why you're seeing that.
Listen.
Whoa, we got some
Listen.
controversy here.
Listen,
Wow.
I like what the
Listen.
Giants are doing. I like
Listen.
what the Giants are doing, but Dallas is a little more developed.
No, Dallas has
That's
a
what I'm
horrible
saying.
defense. They don't have a defense to save their life at all.
They added, all right? They added through the draft.
They added a little bit, but they still stink. They're still stinkers. They don't have anything on that defense.
I will agree, the secondary is still questionable, but you can't say they didn't add anything, Cam.
Okay,
They drafted some guys, but there's still there's question marks, but they added. You can't say they added nothing.
Listen.
I hate to say it myself, I do, but I just
Maybe it's just
believe at
because I
heart
don't
they have the
like
best
them,
offense.
but I don't think Ezekiel's going to have a good year either, but...
Sam needs Ezekiel to have a good year, not trying to sidetrack his fantasy.
We will move on from Sam's poor fantasy choices anyway to the NFC West now. We got a great division here with probably one of the best in football now, transitioning from one of the worst, with the Niners, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Rams. A very good division.
It's stacked.
It is stacked division here. I mean, you got probably the best defense in the entire league. You got some great up and coming, players in this division. It's a tough one, and I have to give it to the Seattle Seahawks narrowly because honestly, I think that their schedule is a little bit on the light side. Not gonna lie. I think that their schedule is a little bit lighter, so I think that when I looked at it, I saw them winning some games that the other teams just didn't have the luxury of winning. So.
Oh, schedules. He's bringing up the schedules again. Justin, sometimes you just gotta throw the schedules out the window onto the pavement, alright? Because the Rams are gonna win this division. Matt Stafford and the Rams are gonna edge. I'm gonna say it's close, like you said with the Seahawks. I'm going to say the Rams edge it out. I think they have the defense. I think adding Matthew Stafford is huge. He's better than Jared Goff. He's going to provide more to the offense, allow Sean McVay to be more creative, and I see them edging out the division. It's going to be close. It's going to be a battle like it seems to be every year with those teams, but I'm going to go with the Rams.
What about the Cardinals? You got Kyler Murray, he's coming off, what, is this third year?
I think it's third.
This will be his third, I believe.
Yeah.
This will be his third.
I think it's third year. They added stuff on their defense. They picked up J.J. Watt, really good defensive player. They still have D-Hop, one of the best receivers in the league. With adding James Conner now, he's probably not going to get that many reps in, of course, but with adding him in the running game, I think that offense is going to be something else, and I think that defense isn't that bad either. I think they can make a run for the division. I don't see Seattle winning it. I think the Rams have more of a chance than Seattle, like Smed said. I really do. I don't believe in DK that much, but that's also me.
Ooh, okay.
Man, the hot takes. The hot takes from the
listen,
my goodness.
Listen. I like Russell. Don't get me wrong. I do like Russell. I think he's a great quarterback. Still probably one of the best in the league. I think Chris Carson is a good running back. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think DK is, I don't think he's going to have an outstanding year. I think he's going to have, a decent amount of drops. He is fast. He's athletic, but I just don't see Seattle having that team to actually make it. So my take is Cardinals. That's who I'm thinking is going to win.
Yo, Cam, my boy, I'm here to back you up on that. It's bold, and I like it. I'm going Cardinals in a shocker this year. Listen, I love the offense, like you said. Kyler Murray, he's been on the up and coming for a while now. He's going to have a standout year this year. And I'm hoping that, because I have him in fantasy, but, I truly believe he will. He's got one of the best offensive teams in the league around him with D-Hop, Kenyon Drake. He's got weapons. And the defense, shored up a bit. As you said, they added J.J. Watt. I think that they'll just pull it out the bag. I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be close, but I think they'll be able to edge the Rams, who potentially might have some offensive struggles. With Matthew Stafford having to adjust, he's not Tom Brady. He's not going to be able to adjust like that, in my opinion.
Does have a preseason, though, training camp.
Yeah, you're right.
It may not be Brady where he can do it on the fly, COVID season, but...
You're right there, but I think it'll be close. I'm going to put some faith in the Cardinals. I'm going to go with them right now.
Let's go.
And the Rams are going to be a close second. Rams one game short of them. Rams still have the best defense, but I'm going
Wow.
Cardinals.
Yeah,
I'm
listen,
going
before we move
Cardinals.
on,
Justin's
I just,
pick is
yeah,
third.
I
Is
just
that
gotta
what's going on
say,
here?
Seattle is third. Their defense just isn't there for me.
listen,
It isn't.
I just gotta say how close this division is. I gotta read it out to you guys. I have Seattle at 11-6, and the rest at 10-7. So I mean, it's a super close division, like I said.
Wow. So you're saying they really beat up on everyone else, but like
Oh
they're
yeah,
in
like
their
within the division, they're
that's-
pretty much
that's- wow.
everybody's splitting. Yeah, like so
Oh my-
it was a tough decision. It
10
could come down to 1 or 2 games.
10-7 for the Niners too. That's
Yeah.
interesting. With Garoppolo, Trey Lance, we didn't even really talk about them. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the division, but that's definitely an interesting. They got hopefully Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel healthy. Trey Lance, see what he's gonna do with Garoppolo. Still have George Kittle.
They have the weapons.
It's
yeah.
tough, yeah.
They've got the
division
weapons, and
stuff,
if they
yeah.
stay healthy, I think it's possible.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
you said this division is going to be really close, but I think but we're forgetting that Jimmy Garoppolo helped lead that 49ers team to a Super Bowl. Granted, it was a little bit ago, but I mean, the only reason I don't want to say this is the only reason, but I mean, he lost to one of the best quarterbacks right now in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they took a pretty hard loss, and then obviously with the major injury to him last season, that definitely had an impact on this 49ers team. But I think with Jimmy G coming back and maybe trying to get Trey Nance more involved in the offense, they could have a shot too. I don't want to just overlook them and like brush them off to the side,
Ooh.
but you got to
Okay.
remember that this team is high caliber too.
I know Sam knows ball, okay? I know Sam knows ball, but I'm just gonna question this, all right? You're saying that Jimmy G led him to the promised land. Are you sure
I don't
Kyle
agree with that
Shanahan
assessment.
doesn't have any
but he had a major role in that, too.
mastermind?
He had a major role in that too. Your quarterback is a cornerstone in your team.
True.
I like it
I'll
when
attribute
Sam
more to
talks
the
football
coaching,
here,
defense,
Obviously, me being
parts
a football
around him.
guy, I'm not going to know everything, but from what I know,
It's a good point, Sam.
quarterback
It
is
is.
your cornerstone,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he had a major role in helping that team make it to the Super Bowl right there.
Sam, I like what you're saying, mostly because I like it when you talk football, but
That's what I was gonna say.
I gotta cut you off though. Let's move on to the AFC side here. The AFC North, Cam's division. We got the Steelers,
Oh,
Ravens,
yeah.
Browns, Bengals.
Oh.
Oh boy, Cam
You
is
already know-
ready. Cam is
All
Let's
ready.
hear
right.
it, Cam. Let's hear it.
All right.
I'll let you go first, Cam. I'll let you take the
All
lead.
right, you want me to go first? This is my division. You know, it's probably one of the best divisions in football still. Besides the Bengals, because, you know, the Bengals... okay, you're maybe right about that NFC. But I got the Browns winning the division this year. I think they have more offensive weapons. They have people who can actually catch, unlike Steelers. They have good defensive players, you know. I think Miles Garrett still plays for them, right? I think he's good at
Yeah.
defensive player. They have a lot of weapons on that team that is just... overall, they're going to be good. Baker's back for another year again. You know, he's a good quarterback. He's not top, but he's still progressing, so he's not bad. But yeah, I think the Browns are going to win it. I think, now, you may disagree with me, but I think the Steelers are going to still come second. I know you always say, oh, blah, 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 they always had a winning season. They usually do, and that's always because of the coaching they have. They still have key players, you know, they still have their young team. Of course, they're elite receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster, who is literally only like 4th year, I think. Might be
Yeah,
wrong.
the TikTok king himself.
TikTok king himself, which I'm not a big fan of. But, you know, he's one of their quote-unquote veteran, only on a 4th year. So they still have young receivers, still have a young team. But, you know, you have a elite quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, you know, to lead them. I still think they're going to come in second. Okay, well, you may not say
That's some strong words.
Listen.
Elite is not the word I'd use.
Elite, I still think he's elite. He has...
Wow.
Listen.
Wow. You hear that,
Anyway.
folks at home? This man said Ben Roethlisberger is
All right, well,
He is.
Cam,
He is
I'm
elite.
gonna
Roast him
agree
in the
with you
comments.
on the Browns. However, I think for second in that division, it's gonna be the Ravens. I think they have the pieces. you know.
Listen, Lamar Jackson's going to have a crappy year. I am calling it. He is not going to do good this year.
He's safe in that scheme.
Horrible.
He's safe in that scheme.
No, he's horrible. He's not going to do anything. He's crap. I
Yeah, well, guess
guarantee
what?
he won't do
He's
anything.
more elite than Big Ben. I don't wanna hear it.
Roethlisberger. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was
Ben
gonna ask.
Roethlisberger is
okay,
elite,
no.
but
Listen,
Lamar Jackson is not
listen.
elite. You know.
Listen, there's a difference between elite and being healthy. Listen. Listen.
Big Ben wasn't healthy.
Okay, well,
I think that's what he's
okay.
What is
talking
problem?
about.
Listen.
I think that's
Well,
what he's
Big
talking
Ben's
about.
Big Ben when he was
Listen.
healthy hasn't been playing elite, so I wouldn't
Listen,
say that he's
he
elite
still
anymore.
knows the game well, and to me that's an elite quarter. He might not be in his prime.
He's a
He may
veteran.
not-
Dude, he's
Yeah,
like
he's a
36, 37
okay,
years old.
Okay, I used my wrong word. Okay, I used the wrong words. He's a veteran. Maybe
Okay.
not elite right now because elite would be like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen.
Listen, if you're talking about him
Blah, blah,
8,
blah.
9 years ago, yeah, he's elite. Not anymore. Even 5 years ago, I'll give him elite. But not
Maybe I
anymore.
used the wrong word, but I still think he's a good quarterback who has potential, but I don't think he may get there. But I still think he's going to come second in that division because that defense, you got to remember that defense. Minka Fitzpatrick, you got to remember that secondary is really good. They have TJ Watt still on the line. They just picked up another linebacker of Joe Schobert. I think that's who they just picked up, Joe Schobert. They had, who was it, Ingram they picked up, but they picked him up as well. I just think they're going to come second still with that defense carrying them just like they did last year. That defense held it a lot, and, I think that's the division for me.
For the division, I mean, I'll go with the Browns. I think probably the first division other than the NFC North, where most of us are in agreement. Of course, Nate hasn't spewed his takes here, but I'd say the Browns and the Ravens. I agree with Justin. I think the Steelers third.
What?
I think
What? The Steelers
the Ravens
third?
and the Browns are better than them right now.
No, they are not.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
They can.
You
They
just
Better
are.
than them.
Cam, I
This
think
is
they
an
are.
example of a delusional Steelers fan right here.
No, it is not.
We need to
I
get
think
Joe in here to talk some sense to you.
I don't
Well, I don't
care.
know. He might be a delusional fan too.
Oh, he
Justin.
might be. Yeah, he might be.
No.
Well, listen, as much as you might hate to hear it, I agree with both Smed and Justin. Browns take the
Okay.
division. Ravens come second. It's that simple. The Browns have a great offense.
No.
They have a great defense too. The Ravens, their defense is pretty
Yeah,
good. They're in the
they
top
have a
half of
good
the league.
defense. I'll give them
In
that.
their offense, listen, you're counting Lamar out. I don't know why. Lamar is he's a good mobile quarterback. He might not be the best passer of the ball, but he has weapons, all right? And he can run with his feet, something that Big Ben can't do. Big Ben cannot move out of the pocket. That's one thing that we all know for sure.
I've seen that man move sometimes.
He can't move. What? Yeah,
Lumbering
move.
around,
What, in
lumbering
You see that? Yeah.
See him running Madden?
Dude, the only time you're seeing Big Ben run is when he's on his way to McDonald's, man, to get that Big Mac, all right? That's the only time you're going to see that man run, all right?
whatever
perfectly
makes him
clear.
Record
listen.
Cam.
Whatever makes him run. Whatever makes him run. All
That's
right,
right.
I heard you
That's
guys
what he's running
take.
to.
Next
all right.
division.
Taking shots
you
at
guys
Big
are
Browns. Personal
Ravens,
attacks.
Steelers third,
Yeah,
and the
gosh.
Steelers are gonna go below
Blah, blah,
500
blah.
because of the 17.
Let's move on before we start calling each other fat. Okay.
The personal attacks. Let's take the personal attacks out of the players.
All right, let's go to the AFC South. Great division here. We got the Colts, Jaguars, Titans, and unfortunately the Texans. We'll get to that later, but for right now, I got to call a winner here, and I think we're all in agreement on this one. It's going to be the Tennessee Titans with that with
All
Julio
in
Jones
agreement.
entering in there. Yeah. I think that with Carson Wentz going down early, not going to be in for several weeks. We're talking half the season at least. With the Titans coming in, they've
5-12.
got
You never know. You never know.
yeah, but that's
He's on track. Him and
it's
Quentin
gonna be
Nelson
a
are on
decent
track
amount
to
of time,
start
so.
early in the season.
So I'm just
Did you
from what
hear the
I'm
report?
seeing, from what I'm seeing, I'm thinking that the Titans are going to take this division. I mean, they have a great team. They have a great offense. I mean, their defense is going to be up there, so I think they're going to have a good season.
I agree with you for once, Justin, just so you know. I think the Titans will take the division. I think Ryan Tannehill is still in his prime. He's still a pretty good quarterback. Now they added Julio Jones to the offensive side of the line. They have A.J. Brown still, Derrick Henry, still a beast running back. They still have a really good offense. And that defense isn't one of the worst defenses. They have an all right defense. I think that defense will be able to hold them out. And I think between Jacksonville Jaguars, who don't really have that great of a team, the Colts do have a good defense. I think the Colts will come second. I do think so. I think the Colts will come second because they still have a good defense. They still have a good O-line. It's still a decent team, but I think the Titans overall have it this year. And the Texans are just the Texans, so.
I just want to, before I go into my thing, Justin, let's say Carson Wentz is able to come back, let's say 3 or 4, I heard there was some reports recently that he's on track, him and Quentin Nelson, who's an all-pro lineman, to come back earlier than was projected. Do you give them more of a shot if they come back earlier, the Colts, in that regard, or do you still believe if they come back earlier on in the season that the Titans will win it regardless?
If they're coming in earlier, I think that there's definitely going to be more of a shot for them, but I do feel like the Titans are going to win this division just with the solid pieces that they have in there. Carson Wentz is still new to the system, and it's going to take some time for him to adjust as well, and he's injury prone, so he might get taken out later, so you never know really with what's going to happen, but I do think that the Tennessee Titans are probably the most solid team in that division, at least for right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I'm in agreement as well. I think the Titans adding Julio, I think, was a huge step for them because, I mean, the past few years, I think you could make that debate still, and they were able to pull it out. But the Colts are a very talented team defensively. I'd even go as far as to say better than the Titans defensively, but they needed that extra weapon. They got it, and now, I mean, their offense is loaded on par talently with some of the best in the league. So, I mean, that's very hard to compete with in that division. So I think the Titans, Colts are going to be a close second, and you have the two teams rebuilding, Jacksonville probably third, and the Texans that situation. So, I mean, they'll be probably one of the worst teams in the league, but, I think the Titans are going to win it.
Yeah, Justin, I agree with you. I think the Titans will take the division. I don't want to just discount the Colts entirely, though, because I will firmly say I believe they have the best defense in that division. I think it's better than the Titans. But their offense, with Wentz coming in against a new system kind of thing, and he's got, he's injured right now. So you'll take time to adjust, and I just don't think that, they'll have the year quite the year they did like they had under Phillip Rivers, who was able to, get equipped with the offense pretty readily as a veteran quarterback. And I just, I see them coming second, be close. Jonathan Taylor, I think, will have a good year for them at running back. But the Titans have too much with Julio, Tannehill, Henry. It's a three-headed monster kind of on offense for them there. And I think they'll run that division. Texans, Jake said, don't want to touch that situation. And Jacksonville, they're not there yet. They're too young. So
I definitely think that the Texans will be one of the worst, if not the worst team in the league this season. So my prayers go out to them. But let's move on to something that we hopefully should all agree on in the AFC East, which is comprised of the Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, and Bills. All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're insane. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're crazy if you don't say the Buffalo Bills are winning this division. As you said last season, although last season you weren't crazy for saying it, this season you are. I think the Bills are going to win this division for sure. They are
the Jets.
The New York Jets. Time has come.
They are one of the best teams in the NFL, the second best
Zach
team in
Wilson.
the AFC. They are going to win this division.
Did someone say Tua?
And Sam's kicked out of the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you think's going to come second?
Second for me is the Dolphins. I think that they have
What?
more. Oh yeah, they got more pieces than any of the other teams. Yeah.
Listen, I got the Pats coming second. All right, just listen to me.
Hot
Listen,
takes everywhere. Hot takes everywhere.
Alright.
Now
I
people
got
are
the
saying
hot
Bill
takes.
Belichick,
Listen,
but I mean,
Bill Belichick. Okay,
You gonna talk
Sam.
Bill Belichick to me? You gonna talk Bill
Sam said
Belichick
the
to
same
me?
thing
That
as me.
man's owned
Listen,
the Bills for the past.
listen.
You want to talk Bill
How many
Belichick to
seasons?
me?
Bill Belichick is a great coach. You got Cam Newton. Well, okay, listen. Cam
You know what that
Newton
great
is.
You know what that great coach's
he-
record last season was 7-9. So
Listen, Cam Newton was coming into a new system, and now he should know the system better. He should get used to the offense more. They still have a good defense. I still think they're going to be better than the Dolphins. Now, don't get me wrong. The Dolphins, I think it's going to be really close. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be really close. I think the Dolphins do have a good team. Don't get me wrong. Like with Mike Gesicki being a good tight end. They have Tua. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how he does.
They added Will Fuller. Will Fuller too.
Yeah, Will Fuller.
Devontae
That's who
Parker.
it was. Yeah.
Devontae
But the only
Parker,
problem with they do have offensive weapons, but I mean, isn't Will Fuller suspended right now?
He is.
For
They
6
do
games,
have
yeah.
him, Jalen Waddle.
But,
they took in the draft.
Yeah.
Waddle.
They have an offense. I just don't think the defense is there, and I still think the Pats.
Xavier
overall-
Howard, though? I mean,
Listen.
best
I know.
defensive player last season.
Listen,
Hey, one
don't
man
get me
doesn't
wrong.
make a whole defense.
Don't get him wrong, okay? Don't get him wrong.
Listen.
They had a good
Okay.
year, though.
I-
They were
I-
top 10 unit last season.
I think it's going to
So
be
you
really
want to
close.
change your pick, Justin? Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
Listen,
no.
I think it's going to be really.
Come on.
I think it's going to be really close. But I think if Cam Newton has a good year, then they're going to be better. If he does, but that's if he does.
Well, there was a commercial. I forget what commercial it was for, but he was doing a commercial where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to prove myself this year." You see him working out, you see him throwing passes, and then you know what? You know how he proved himself by having a 7-9 record. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe he improves into this offense, but Cam Newton in the past couple seasons just has not performed that well, especially since he went to the Super Bowl and lost to
Bill
Peyton Manning.
Belichick will turn him around.
Yeah, I was gonna hold on. Not to go down a Cam Newton rabbit hole here. But Sam, you're saying that the 7-9 record is solely on Cam Newton.
Why-
Yes, he did
listen,
play
why
his
are you
best
attacking
football.
me?
He did have.
They didn't have anything, to be fair. To be fair,
They
last
didn't
season
have
they did not have
anything
much.
around him.
Okay, fair. Like I said, QB's the cornerstone of the team. When your cornerstone's
Yeah,
not
but,
performing, that makes
listen,
a big.
I think
I'm not
that-
saying it's all on him. I'm just saying it played a role in this record.
I think that the Dolphins, that's where they're questionable at quarterback. However, I also think that Cam Newton's a little questionable himself, so that's why I gotta give the edge here definitely to the Dolphins.
I think this is a clean sweep with Bills, and we just a debate, second place debate.
Second place was more interesting.
Justin,
I think
will
Cam
give it to
might
you this
be
year.
on the
Bills.
hill with the Patriots. He's on his lone hill, thinking the Patriots second. I'm going Dolphins.
Tom
Wait a
Brady isn't
second.
there
Wait
anymore.
a second. I got to say something about
Okay,
this.
all right, Nick. All right.
Here
But
The
no,
Jets.
I
we go.
that's right. Zach Wilson, the Jets, baby. They're coming. No, they're not. Jets fans can dream all they'd like, but they did have a good draft, so I'll give them credit for that. They're building for the future. We'll see if Zach Wilson pans out. But Justin, give you your props. The Bills will win the division this year, probably quite handily. You know, I got to go Dolphins second. It'll be close, but their offense is just there, and you know, I don't know what's gonna happen with Cam Newton. Honestly, he might not even start. You could have Mac Daddy Jones, you know, starting
matter.
up there in New England.
Daddy Jones.
Let me
doesn't
some
matter.
Mac Daddy.
Doesn't
Whoever
matter.
starts.
A rookie is different. So.
Listen. I think the
Okay.
Pats got it.
You don't think it
second.
matters? You don't think it matters who starts?
No.
Okay.
Interesting, because there's all kinds of mistakes that
Don't
happen
get
with
him
rookies,
wrong,
but-
Nate.
Well,
Don't get him
yeah,
wrong. Okay.
All right, well,
Don't,
okay.
it's Bill
let's
Belichick,
not
bro.
get him started again. Let's not get him started. Let's move on. AFC West, which this one again, clean sweep. Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos. Come on.
Excuse me?
It's Chiefs.
But the
It's-
Raiders.
Excuse me.
But Justin Herbert.
I'm just gonna say one thing, and this should
But
clean
Drew
it all
Lock.
up. No, I'm gonna say one thing, and this should clear it all up. Patrick Mahomes. Boom. There you go.
yeah.
Discussion over.
You could have said Travis
You're right.
Kelsey. You could have said Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
You
but
could have
if you
said
want one
Andy
thing,
Reid
just one
as
thing.
well.
Patrick Mahomes.
right.
That's it. The man is throwing passes in the air, and they're going right where he wants them.
I think
His
every
receivers can
quarterback
hold
is
on.
throwing passes in the air, Justin.
Well, I mean, like he's like in the air, his body's in the air.
Yeah.
Justin, I believe we can all agree consensus that the Chiefs will win, but the battle for second is up for grabs, in my opinion.
I think that
the debate is on.
Yeah, I also think that this one should be more of a slam dunk than people think it is, because I think that this team is on the rise.
Say
And I think their
Say
quarterback's going to have a breakout
Say it.
season.
Say it. Say
Los
it.
Angeles Chargers
Let's
are going to win that
go.
one.
Yes, sir.
I think that Justin Herbert's gonna have a breakout season this year. And I
Nate
think
hates
the
to see
Chargers
it.
are
He's
gonna-
crying over there. He doesn't know what to do. Tears of
they're
joy
gonna be-
or
I think they're gonna be
tears of
great.
You know-
sadness.
You want to know what's causing me pain right now? The fact that, you know, I'm just thinking, I'm imagining a world where Justin Herbert is the Broncos quarterback with our receiving core.
Oh,
And it just hurts to think about that.
Oh,
because
man.
we are stuck with Drew Lock right now, dang it.
Maybe you can swing a
Oh.
trade.
Let me play a sad song for you on the world's
Yeah.
smallest violin.
Please do.
Oh.
It pains me to think about.
What about the Raiders? You can't
The
count them out.
Raiders.
Can't count them out.
Raiders.
Listen, I think they'll have
What,
an okay
Derek Carr?
season, but like
They have a. I
I
like.
think the
I like
Make the
Chargers
case they're
have
the
the talent.
worst. You can make the case they're the worst with the Broncos talent-wise, second, third. You know, I think the Chargers are second. I think that's a good pick. I think Asante Samuel Jr., rookie, he's going to come in, make an impact on that defense. They're going to have good, solid defense. Offense
Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Perhaps. Bold, but perhaps. Broncos, good defense, good skill position players, quarterback. They got Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock battling it out. I just think the quarterback position puts the Chargers above the Broncos, and the Raiders. Their defense is okay. Their offense is okay. And in this division, they are, I guess, a fourth-place team, unless proven otherwise.
All right, well then, let's move on to our playoff predictions, guys. Just the seeds here, okay? We're going to look at these now. For the NFC, we're going to start off. I'm going to take you through, see what you guys think. I got, for 1 through 7 here, we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking up that number 1 seed with the bye. I'm going to have Green Bay Packers sitting at number 2. Like I said, Seattle Seahawks, I think, are going to win their division, so I have them at 3. Then I had the football team at 4. And then I got the Saints coming in at 5. I think they're still going to be good. And then I got the Rams and Cardinals rounding out at 6 and 7. I think that's a very stacked division.
See,
Now
the problem
I gotta
is
think about the teams,
Yeah, exactly. I gotta think now.
See, the Cardinals are going to win the division, so the Seahawks can't be there because the Cardinals are going to win.
Do you agree with Tampa Bay being the number 1 seed in the NFC?
Yes, I agree with it because Tom Brady's the GOAT, which, yes, he technically is. But, I think that Tampa Bay team's still good, so I think they're going to be the number 1 seed.
I think, I guess thinking on to what I guess my divisions, I think Tampa Bay 1. Let's see, the second one, I'll go with the Packers. Third, I'll go with the Rams. Fourth, the Giants. And, I'll mix in the Cardinals as a wild card team. Let's see, another wild card. Let's go with the Seahawks. Three playoff teams in that division. I think it's fair to say. And Saints. I think that's my 7. The last wild card, no particular order, 5, 6, 7, I guess, in order that way.
Just for the sake of some difference here, I'll go, Mike drop Aaron Rodgers. Last season with Green Bay, Mike drops. They take number 1 seed, get a bye. I'll go Tampa Bay 2. It's close. I have the Cardinals at 3. I have the win of the division. It's kind of a surprise pick, maybe. 4, Dallas, as much as I hate to say it. I think they'll win that division. 5, I'm going to go with Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams at 5. I'll go Saints 6, and Seattle squeaks in at 7.
All right, now I know I'm going to create some waves with my AFC predictions, and I think you guys can expect what I'm about to say, but we'll go along with it because I think I'm justified in what I'm going to say. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills at number 1, and I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at number 2. Number 3, we're going to have the Titans, and then number 4 is going to be the Browns. 5 going to be the Chargers. I think they're going to be that good. Then the Baltimore Ravens will be 6, and Dolphins at 7.
Well, first off, the Chiefs are 1, the Bills are 2. I'm sorry.
Can I
explain?
To be said.
That has to.
Can I explain?
I'll let you elaborate.
I think record-wise they tie, and I think that the Bills might beat them in their head-to-head matchup.
No, not after last year's matchup.
Teams changed. The teams have changed.
No,
not that drastically, Justin.
No,
both teams have improved. No. All it takes is a couple crazy plays, and something can happen.
I think if
there's a team that's built to beat,
Justin, because I actually don't know.
It is an Arrowhead.
Yep, it's over.
That's the
Patrick
answer.
Now.
Chiefs 1.
It's
Bills
not 100%.
2. I think everyone other than Justin is in agreement on that.
Yeah.
It seems like. But three for me. Oh man. I guess I'll go with the Browns. You know what? I'll mix it up. Titans 4. I think the Browns finish with a better record. Cam is in shock over there. Division rival. Can't believe it. Stunned. Yeah, Cam, I'll pick that jaw.
He's like, my division?
You. Yes. Yeah. 5.
Steelers,
5.
I'll go
with 5. I'll go with the Ravens. Cam, I'll pick that jaw up again. Jaw dropped. Another division rival. This is 5, 6.
Whatever
I
you
will
think.
I will go with the Colts. I think the Colts. You know, you can call me Carson Wentz all you want, you know, the Eagles connection there. But I think the Colts can sneak into a wild card spot because of their defense, ground and pound offense style. I think they can get in as a 6 seed. And you know what? I'll stick with the Chargers. The Chargers maybe not as high as Justin, but I have them. They can slip in. They can slip into a 7 wild card spot. Dolphins in the mix too, but I think the Chargers might edge them out. We'll be close though.
I like yours better because Dolphins aren't in it.
I just thought about them at the very end, but I didn't want to change anything.
And Jake, as you were saying that is literally what I was thinking about. Who would I put in to those final wild card spots? I agree at the top. Chiefs 1, Bills 2. Justin, don't get me wrong. They're going to be close in record, but that game in Arrowhead will be the difference, and the Chiefs will win that game, in my opinion. 3,
Yeah, you can think that.
I haven't really looked at the schedule probably as much as you have, but just going based off division, I'm going to go the Titans go 3 just because I feel like the Browns have a tougher division to play in, so their record might be, a game or two worse than the Titans. The Browns 4. 5, I agree with Jake. I'm going Ravens. Sorry, Cam. That's going to happen.
That
Six,
happens.
He is stunned.
It's got to happen.
That happens, man.
It's not going to happen.
6, I'm going to go.
Ravens.
6, I'm going to go with the Dolphins. They're there. They're a good team, They're ready to make that step into the wild card.
I think they'll be there, too. It's unfortunate.
They'll be there.
Yeah, I didn't
seven,
think about that.
7, I really do back my guy, Herbert. I'm not a Chargers fan, but I backed him big at Oregon. But I got to go Colts. I'm going to go Colts. It might be against my judgment at the quarterback spot, but defensively and as a team as a whole, I got to go Colts. Their defense is too good. I think they'll squeak in.
All right, Cam, tell me how the Steelers are making it into the 5th spot. Come on, tell me how.
The 5th, because it's going to happen. The Baltimore Ravens are doo-doo, and they suck. That's just simple.
And so give me your order.
Logic. What a logic
there.
there.
Give me the order. Give me the order. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Like, of my playoff, who I think it's going to go like?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it, Cam.
All right. So, of course, number 1, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a no-given. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. That's a no-given either. Now, the number 3 spot, I agree with Nate. I got the Tennessee Titans. I think they'll get that 3rd spot. Number 4, but I think the Browns will get number 4. I think they take that number 4 seed. I see, my thing is weird, but I think the Steelers are still going to come in that wild card spot. Yes. I think the Steelers take that 6th wild card spot.
That's wishful thinking there.
Yeah.
And then I think the 7th seed is going to be...
What about the 5th seed?
I was going to say, but it's different seeds.
I'm messing up my seats. Hold on. But anyway, the 7th seed is going to be...
The 2.
Listen, it's going to be Justin Herbert. I think the Chargers will be there. And then let's put, the Colts?
How about the Ravens? Ravens? Yeah, put the Ravens in it?
No, the Ravens will not. Nah.
It's funny how you're putting a worse team above a better team. I don't quite get it.
Yeah. I think that's how... listen, I think that's how it's going to be. Trust me. I know my predictions, okay?
Alrighty, we'll see,
I
guess.
Cam knows his predictions. Hopefully the audience at home does not agree because they're very bad
They will
predictions.
agree. Listen, they are great predictions.
Well, that's it for me, Jacob. Take it away.
All right, thank you, Justin and friends. Nate, what is going on the ice? We got the Kraken. The expansion draft is over. Free agency players are flying around. What is going on, Nate?
Yes, indeed, Jake. We did have the NHL expansion draft welcoming the Seattle Kraken to the NHL officially. And, a lot of people after the draft ended were underwhelmed. I would say that was the feeling around their selections. They left a lot of big players on the board. They could have had Vladimir Tarasenko. They left him go. They could have had a guy like JVR from the Flyers. No, instead they took somebody who's played most of the season at the AHL level. Just to highlight a few players, they took Yanni Gourde from Tampa Bay Lightning, the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. Jordan Eberle, who the Flyers would know well from the New York Islanders. They were able to get Chris Drediger, who had a pretty good year in goal for the Florida Panthers. They got Mark Giordano, the former captain of the Calgary Flames. Pittsburgh fans, they took Brandon Tanev, who had a pretty good year last year for the Penguins. And they also took Vitek Vanacek as their second goalie from Washington. But I only mention that to say that they traded him back to Washington in free agency. Question what they do there. It wasn't that impressive. Is it a team that can win? No. But I will say this. I got to mention this real quick. Free agency, they stepped it up. And they signed Philip Grubauer at goalie. Top 3 goalie in the NHL. He had a great year last year. The Avalanche were not able to lock him down. That's going to hurt that team a lot. When you lose your main guy in goal, it's going to hurt the Avalanche, who I thought would be a Stanley Cup champion contender this year. I really did. I thought this could be their year coming up. After that, I really don't know. They have been, and Grubauer's a big part of that. I mean, your goalie, consistent goalie play is key, and they needed to lock him down, and they couldn't. Seattle overall, what's their outlook right now? It's a little better after free agency. I, however, do not believe, looking at the team, that it is a Stanley Cup playoff team at the moment. But we were all surprised by Vegas, so who knows? We could be surprised by that Seattle team.
That's exactly what I was going to mention too. Look at what Vegas kind of pulled off in their first season. I think you can't count them out, but I think on paper you're exactly right that this team is just, they're gonna struggle, I think, as an expansion team. But who knows if they can get it together? I think they can maybe compete at the bottom, like wild card. If they can maybe sneak in there, I think maybe that might be the best chance for now.
You're right. They potentially could, but that's not the only news we have to talk about. Of course, big free agency signings did occur, and there were some trades. I'll start with the Flyers fan base. We were able to secure Ryan Ellis from the Nashville Predators. That was a big move on the D-line that we needed. Let's be quite frank. We needed to get one of those veteran defensemen locked down on the D-line to put there with Provorov, and the Flyers got it done. They traded early for him, and I love the move as a Flyers fan. And they also were able to sign veteran Keith Yandle to a 1-year, $950,000 deal. I like that move. Keith Yandle is a veteran, a guy who's been there, done it, and a great defenseman to add. So the Flyers shored up their D-line, and hopefully that helps out Carter Hart in this upcoming season.
I think another name to add too is Ristolainen, and I think I know why. While he gets some criticism for being on the Sabres, his plus not minus wasn't the best.
Yeah.
I think you also have to take into account it's the Buffalo Sabres, one of the worst teams in the NHL as of now. He'll be on a better team in the Flyers. He'll be on a second line instead of a first line. So he'll be playing with, some better teammates, we'll say, even though the Flyers struggled. So I think that is going to be an underrated one. I don't think he's going to be as bad as maybe some people say he is, or maybe how he played in a previous year. But yeah, they really reshaped that D-line, and they needed to be able to compete in what still and seems like year in and year out is a tough Metropolitan.
Yeah, the Metropolitan, in my opinion, remains the best division in hockey, the strongest consistently year in, year out, as you said, Jake. A few other notable free agency moves. Dougie Hamilton, great defenseman from the Carolina Hurricanes, signed a 7-year, $63 million contract with the New Jersey Devils, of all teams. Now, unfortunately for him, he's going to a Devils team that haven't been that great in the past few years, despite the number 1 overall picks that they did occur. We'll see if he's able to help turn that around. Personally, I don't see, as we've said, in a Metropolitan division that's very tough, I don't see signing him making the difference for the Devils. I still think they will struggle, and it'll probably be a tough year for them. Braden Point signed a $76 million extension with Tampa Bay. He was a key member of that team who won back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. Very important that they were able to keep him, but where you keep a guy, you lose a couple others from that championship run, and Blake Coleman is no exception. He signed a 6-year deal with the Calgary Flames. They also lost Barclay Goodrow to a 6-year deal. He went to the Rangers, so the Rangers, they buffed up there with Goodrow, and that Lightning team, as we suspected, were going to lose a few key players, and a lot of those role players, Yanni Gourde, who went to the Kraken, Goodrow, and Coleman leaving, that's going to hurt them, but we'll see what happens. Cale Makar, best defenseman in the league, I would say, signed a 6-year, $54 million extension with Colorado. Big move for them. After the Grubauer debacle, they needed to sign their best young defenseman, and they were able to do that. Another defenseman, Seth Jones, signed an 8-year, $76 million deal with the Chicago Blackhawks. Good for him. He's been in the league now. He's proven himself.
Yeah, I think that was Seth Jones is a really good defenseman, and it'll be interesting, that whole sign and trade with the Blackhawks and the Blue Jackets. Seth Jones going to the Blue Jackets, sending a few players back for him. We'll see how that pans out. The Blackhawks have had a history of paying guys a lot of money, good players for a lot of money. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, a few of them. So see if they can rise back up in the standings to compete in that division.
Yeah, I agree, Jake. And also, they were able to secure Marc-Andre Fleury at goal. Nobody was sure if he'd stay or go, but he did decide to stay ultimately with the Blackhawks after Vegas decided to move on from him. One other big name extension, Alex Ovechkin, got a 5-year, $47.5 million extension with Washington. Will he break the goal record? We shall see. But, with that 5-year deal, unfortunately, it seems like he may. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, Nate, switching gears from the ice to the pitch, the soccer pitch. Lionel Messi, some consider him the greatest. Nate, not one of those people, but he is switching teams, leaving Barcelona and joining PSG. Nate, what do you have for us?
All right, Jake, you're putting those words in my mouth there.
Okay, all right. A known Ronaldo fan, okay. I apologize.
I am a known, yes. This was a shock to many, simply because it was reported earlier in the summer that Messi would stay at Barcelona through a pay cut, since they are struggling financially, in quite some debt. However, about 2 weeks ago, it all fell apart, and there were reports that Barcelona could no longer sign him. And it was true, they could not. It's not that Messi wanted to leave Barcelona. He actually wanted to stay after a year where he saw the team play, perform, and at the end of last summer, he did want to leave. But after this past season, they were all right. They had built up some young players, and he saw himself wanting to stay. I believe that wholeheartedly, but ultimately, it couldn't happen. And the move to PSG formalized because PSG and Man City are only the really two teams that could afford him. And Man City just signed Jack Grealish for about $110 million. So they got their guy there, and Messi ultimately decided to go join PSG and then reunite with his buddy Neymar. And my oh my, that front line of Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe will be something formidable this upcoming year. I mean, I can't fathom what the three of those guys are going to do in League One against all these small French teams.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what PSG has to offer with that great front line. Speaking of the end of a journey, the end of the episode, thank you all for listening. You can find future episodes on Spotify. And thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring this video. Again, thank you all for listening.